afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to IREX Business Connect webinar. It's great to have you all joining us from different parts of the country, along with our esteemed speaker together on this platform. Looking at these challenging times, we at GMN Media have put together this platform as an opportunity to educate all our esteemed investors, investment bankers, lawyers, real estate consultants about attractive real estate investments on offer. This presentation will be for 30 minutes, followed by 15 minutes of Q&As. I would request all our attendees to be on active speaker mode. During time of Q&A, all attendees are requested to click the raise your hand button on your screen and you will be allowed to ask your questions. We will unmute you so that you can ask your question. Since we only have 15 minutes, in case you didn't get your chance to ask your question or your query remains unanswered, the presenters will get in touch with each one of you after the webinar. Without further delay, I would like to introduce our presenters, Mr. Harun Sufi, Managing Director, Belluccio Property Group, and Mr. Mark Nelson, Sales Manager for Chevron One. They will be presenting on investment opportunities in Chevron One residents in Gold Coast, Australia. Over to you guys.
Thank you for that introduction, Rohan. Hi guys, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. We are in Gold Coast, Australia at the moment at the display suite of the Chevron One residencies. I just want to show you, so myself, I'm Harun Sufi. I'm the Managing Director of Belluccio Property Group. With me, I've got Mark Nelson, who is the Sales Manager of Chevron One. So we're going to be taking you through this amazing project. This is a showcase development, as you can see with some of the imagery that we'll be showing you as well. Please write down any of your questions that you might have. We're happy to help you and go through any questions that you might have later on. So this project that we are showcasing is located in Gold Coast. It is a 41-story luxury tower featuring 236 apartments. The location is surfers paradise. So if anyone knows about beaches and about surf, if you love surfing, or like in India, you guys have got Goa Beach, which is very famous. Here in Australia, we have the Surfers Paradise Beach, and this project is an exclusive development located here. So the estimated value of this development is $250 million. And we have launched it. We are unveiling it over the next couple of weeks. Construction is due to commence in 2021. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about it as well. But the apartments that we have range from, I'll talk dollars first, and then we'll talk in rupees as well, because I've done a little bit of a matrix. So one-bedroom apartments start at around 390,000 Australian dollars, and they go to about 595. So that's equivalent to about 1.95 crores for a one-bedroom apartment, and they go up to about 2.975. So in terms of square feet, you're looking at about 796 square foot to 828 for a one-bedroom. And then as soon as you go to a two-bedroom apartment with 2 bathrooms and 1-car garage, you're looking at about $705,000, which is equivalent to around 3.5 crores. The beauty about this development is that we are selling at the moment. We only require a 10% deposit. So for example, if you look at a 1.95 or a 2.95 crore apartment, we just need a 10% deposit to secure the apartment. And the balance is actually probably in 2023.
Start of 2023. That's correct. So the 90% is due then.
So unlike other countries where you buy a property, you've almost got to pay a certain percentage every 6 months or 3 months, depending on the payment plan. The payment plan with us is the developers here have done a fantastic, it's a fantastic opportunity for an investor where you just pay 10% of the price And over the next 2.5, 3 years, until the construction is actually commenced or completed, that's when you pay the balance of the property. So let's go into talking a little bit about the location. I'll let Mark talk a little bit about the location. As you can see by the image, it's shows you where we are. But yeah, I might let you go through.
Absolutely. Thanks, Haroon. So Chevron 1 is located on an island called Chevron Island. Now, Chevron Island is located, as Haroon said earlier, in Surfers Paradise. Now, for anyone that knows Queensland or Surfers Paradise, it is located in the heart of the Gold Coast. So within Australia, the Gold Coast is probably the most famous beach and coastal town in all of Australia, okay? And the beauty about our project is we are located on an exclusive island, as I said before, called Chevron Island, yet we are only 800 meters walk to the beach, to the heart of the Gold Coast, Surfers Paradise CBD.
CBD is the Central Business District.
The Central Business District, correct. And we have lots of public transport nearby. So to give you an example, there's what we call a light rail in Australia, which is like a tram. That takes 10 minutes to one of the largest shopping centres in all of Queensland and one of the biggest casinos in all of Queensland. So the beauty about our project is it's in the heart of Gold Coast, but you're located on a quiet, exclusive island with lots of $1 million houses that face the water. And then as you can see from this island, they're all 2-3 level houses. Chevron 1, as Haroon mentioned earlier, is 41 levels, which means that our building has 360-degree views of the entire Gold Coast from every single level.
And as we go through the slides, guys, we'll show you some images of what the views will be like. But thank you for that, Mark. We might go through the next slide.
And this slide here just gives you an example of the amazing views you get from the upper levels. So the top level is obviously level 41. Now, these are the views facing north towards Southport and back towards Brisbane. But because there are no other high rises on our island, as you can see right here, your views, no matter if you're on level 41, level 30, level 20, or even the lower levels, you still get water and ocean views of the entire Gold Coast.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Look at that. So if we just go to the next slide. In terms of key landmarks, obviously you guys must be wondering, okay, what are the key landmarks that are surrounding this development? So Mark, if you can just give us a bit of an idea for someone who doesn't know Gold Coast,
sure.
If they bought an apartment here in Chevron 1, where can they go?
Yeah, okay. So this is probably the main reason why Chevron 1's been one of the most popular developments in all of Australia, particularly right now with Queensland being so popular in terms of interstate migration.
Absolutely.
Is because of the location. Okay, so as you can see here, our building is only a 700-meter walk to the Surfers Paradise Beach, one of the most famous beaches in Australia. We're close to the Surfers Paradise Central Business District, where all the famous restaurants, cafes, offices.
Yeah.
So it
nightclubs,
all that sort of stuff. All that kind of stuff. So it means if you're buying as an investment or if you're buying as somewhere to live in, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to want to live in our building because it is so close to everything. As I mentioned earlier, the Star Casino, which is one of the most famous casinos in Australia, it is only an 8-minute drive from our building.
And that casino is also under development as well. So they're extending that casino.
Correct. Because of the demand in Gold Coast right now, and Queensland in particular, everything is expanding.
So we don't need to go to Mackay or Las Vegas. We've got Las Vegas
it's at your doorstep.
Absolutely. And a few other mentions. So the light rail. What is for anyone who doesn't understand the light rail? What is the light rail? What is a light rail?
So the light rail is equivalent to, it's like a train. So it's public transport, and it is just another mode of transport. Instead of, if you don't have a car, you can catch the light rail anywhere. It goes the entire length of the Gold Coast. But more importantly, there is a light rail stop right out the front of Chevron Island. And that takes you all the way to some of these destinations we mentioned here: Pacific Fair, the Star Casino,
University.
Lots of universities,
Griffith University,
hospital, golf clubs, and race courses.
So the light rail is basically, for anyone who's sort of questioning, it's sort of like in San Francisco, how you've got the tram, or in Melbourne, we've got the tram network. So they recently introduced that in Gold Coast. So that's it's great that it's less than 700 meters walk.
Correct.
All right, let's have a look at this. This looks very intriguing. So if you can just give us, I know you've told us a little bit about the location. So I'm just going to butt in a little bit. In terms of Chevron Island, where the Chevron 1 project is, as you can see, it is an island. It is connected with 2 bridges. So one from the Surfers Paradise Bridge, from the Surfers Paradise, and the other one is from the Green Bridge, which is
at the back.
The common. Yeah. So where would that, if I was on the island, I can connect to the freeways pretty easily, can't I?
Correct. So at the back of the island, that bridge there, that connects you to what we call the freeway or the highway.
Yep.
And that takes you, it's only 1 hour to Brisbane.
Yes.
Or if you want to go to the airport towards the southeast,
yep,
it's only 25 minutes to Gold Coast Airport. So very central.
As you can see, guys, the amenities that are surrounded by this island, you've got bus stops already there. There's a medical facilities. You can see anywhere where there's a red or the white cross, that's the medical facilities. There's restaurants, there's cafes. There are major retail outlets here. You know, it's a great place to be. So let's have a look at this. Oh, what is this? Oh, so this is talking a little bit about the island itself. And obviously, you said before, it's a very expensive, very exclusive island.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about why is it an exclusive address?
So this slide here, we're just highlighting some recent sales on the island,
mm-hmm,
and just reinforcing that exclusivity on the island. So as you can see from a couple of these sales recently, they range anywhere from
11 million,
4.735. So where our building is located, a house was recently sold on the other side of the road,
yep,
for 4.735 million AUD. So when you're comparing that to our building, Chevron 1, you can be on the other side of the road with views of the entire Gold Coast, 360-degree views, for less than 1/10 of the price of some of these exclusive houses on the island. You know, you're neighboring some very wealthy people. So this slide here is just highlighting how expensive this island is.
Yes.
How exclusive it is, and it's a very desirable location amongst people on the Gold Coast.
So for the guys in India who are looking at this and understanding what the price of if you were to buy a residential property here, $4.75 million, that works out to be, in terms of my calculation, about 25 crores Indian rupees. It looks like there was a property that was sold 18 to 20 Southern Cross Drive for 11 million. That's in excess of, I think it's around 50 to 60 crore rupees. So, I mean, this is very expensive, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Awesome part of it. They always say location. This is definitely
exactly
the location.
Exactly.
So, all right. So the amenities. So let's say I'm a person in India. I'm not really sure about this project, but I'm thinking to buy something. I want to invest. What does Chevron 1 have in terms of amenities? What do I get? So I bought a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. I live in it, or I might rent it out, or I might fly in sometimes. What are the sort of amenities you can tell me?
So when we were designing Chevron 1, we wanted to make Chevron 1 equivalent to a 5-star international hotel in terms of what we offer, yep, to people that buy into the hotel.
Sure.
So, you know, you don't need to go anywhere else. Everything is at your doorstep,
sure,
in this building. So we have a 24/7 residence concierge. So if you have visitors that are coming, if you are getting a delivery and you're not home, you've got a concierge at your doorstep that is, yep, there to service everyone that owns or lives in the building.
Fantastic.
This image we see right now is what we call the residence pool lounge. Yep. So that opens up into the outdoor pool. We have 2 swimming pools. We have an outdoor and an indoor lap pool, which we'll show you shortly. We've got a dining room. So if you have family or friends that come to the building, yep, you can book the dining room out, and instead of using your own apartment, you might have more guests than what you'd like.
Let's say 50 people,
Correct,
host a birthday or a wedding anniversary.
You can book the residence dining room out for free, and it's one of the benefits of living in Chevron 1.
teppanyaki dining.
Teppanyaki dining, that's part of the
people
dining.
That like Japanese.
Correct.
Yep.
We've got a gymnasium, we've got indoor spa and sauna, a communal green and sculptural garden.
Yep.
Anything you can think of in terms of amenity in a building, we have in Chevron 1.
It's very much driven, isn't it, for lifestyle. Someone who likes to, have a good lifestyle, have a sort of like a bit of a swim or a jacuzzi or a sauna before or after work, they can come and utilize
Exactly. And particularly when you're living on the Gold Coast,
yes,
everything is about lifestyle here.
Absolutely.
You go to the beach before work, you go to the beach after work. Yep. Everyone's exercising, everyone's always outside.
Why wouldn't you?
And that's why we've got all of these amenities.
Absolutely. So there's so this is an image. I think you said there's an indoor pool and an outdoor pool.
Correct. So we've got two swimming pools. So all the residential amenity is over 2 levels. So the entire ground level and the entire level 1 is all the amenity for the building. So to give you an idea of what it looks like, this image here is the concierge.
Concierge, yep. So this is the lobby.
This is the lobby. So if you have guests that you want to come meet them downstairs, they can wait in the lobby.
Fantastic.
But everything is very secure. So to enter the building, to enter the lifts,
you have a pass.
You need a pass, and it's all very, very secure. And obviously, you have a 24/7 concierge.
Beautiful. And what is this one?
This is the dining room with the teppanyaki grill. So it's on the ground floor. You can access the pool from the dining room.
So with the teppanyaki, do you get a chef or you got to bring your own?
No, it's like a fully functional kitchen for you to use yourself. If you wanted to bring a chef in, you can.
You can.
But it's just a fully functional kitchen with the teppanyaki grill.
For someone who wants to entertain, have their friends over.
A special event.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that looks good. What is this?
Indoor lap pool and spa.
Okay, this is the indoor swimming pool.
So to give you an idea, this is on level 1.
Yep.
And as you can see from those views, there's nothing in front of us. So what we can see in the background there is the Surfers Paradise CBD. But this just gives you an example. Even from level 1 in our building,
you get views.
You still get views.
Absolutely.
And imagine level 30.
Yeah. So this is the outdoor pool. Okay.
Outdoor pool.
Look at all that greenery. So in terms of the swimming pool, so would that be a heated pool?
That would be a outdoor heated pool. And this is all operated by the building manager and the concierge. So, it will be regularly cleaned, and the whole building will be looking immaculate because it will be managed by the concierge every day.
Sure. All right. Oh, wow. Look at the view. So this is, guys, for you, if anyone's wondering what the view looks like, this is how close we are to Surfers Paradise. That is the CBD. The CBD is the Central Business District. In this image, this is a photo taken at night on level 38. There's a few big towers over there, as you can see, but do we have a shot of the daytime?
Absolutely.
What does the daytime look like? There you go. So from level 4, I guess, as you can sort of see from this image, even if you're on level 4, level 20, or level 38, obviously the higher you go, the views are pretty consistent. But you still get a pretty good view of the Gold Coast CBD.
Absolutely. So not only do you get views of the Gold Coast CBD, but you get views of the Gold Coast hinterlands, which is out the back of our building.
The mountain, the mountain.
The mountains. So no matter if you're facing the ocean, if you're facing southwest out the back of the building, you still get water views.
Yes.
And you still get views of the entire Gold Coast.
Guys, if you've ever looked at Gold Coast, it's probably hard to see it on a map unless you've been here. The amazing part about Gold Coast is you've actually got ocean, land, and then there's a part where it's called the hinterlands, which it's mountainous. So it's a very high sort of, it's not like Kashmir, but something similar to that, where it's very mountainy, and you actually get views on the backside of this building as well. So let's see what else we've got here. Okay. So some key selling points. Maybe I might get you to run through the white ones and I'll go through the blue ones.
Sure. So as we mentioned before, one of the biggest selling points and why our building has been so popular with people in Australia and outside of Australia is we are going to be the first luxury tower on the island.
Yes.
But not only are we the first, we're going to be the tallest building
41 levels.
On the 41 levels. So the island actually it recently got announced a height restriction of 30 meters.
30.
So
30 meters.
which is equivalent to about 10 levels. So
Okay.
we're 41 levels. So no one is even going to be close to being how high we are, which means we'll have our views unobstructed forever.
It's amazing. So there's going to be a new regional immigration hub. So Gold Coast has predominantly been a major city in Australia. Obviously, I'm sure people have got relatives that live in Melbourne or Sydney. Those are major cities, and so is Brisbane and Gold Coast. Now, there was a reclassification of, the government changed some rules around the city, because what they want to do is they want to entice skill migration and students to move out of Melbourne and Sydney, and move into an area where it's less populated, but obviously there's a lot of room for growth. So Gold Coast is one of those. We can talk a little bit about that if anyone has any questions about that. And also, this project is in the center of everything, as we've mentioned. Geographically, this is in the center of Gold Coast, 10 minutes walk from the beach and 8 minutes to Star Casino if anyone likes gambling or going, to play a little bit of roulette.
Absolutely. If I can just quickly touch on the regional immigration hub. So this was a massive announcement, particularly in the Gold Coast, because what it's saying is the government is really targeting the Gold Coast as an area that they think, like you said, has room for a lot of growth.
Yes.
So this is going to mean there's going to be more tourists coming to the Gold Coast and Queensland in general, but more people coming to live. So it means that the property in the Gold Coast, the next 12 months, 24 months, even 5-7 years, the growth for the Gold Coast,
exponential.
A lot of people are predicting, Gold Coast is going to be one of the biggest improvers in all of Australia out of all the major states.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, we can already see it with the coronavirus. I mean, everyone knows what's happening around the world. Queensland has handled the corona very well.
It's like it never existed here.
I know, exactly. Maybe we'll touch on the largest amenity on Gold Coast. What is that?
So as we mentioned before, the residential amenity in Chevron 1 is over 2 levels.
Yep, 1,200 square meters.
And once the building's complete, it will be one of the largest amenities for a building in all of Gold Coast.
Nice. All right, let's have a look at what else we've got. So I think there was, we skipped one. So there we go. Come back to this.
All right, so as we mentioned before, Chevron 1 is going to be the tallest building on the island. And it just means you have views from every single level, 360-degree views of the Gold Coast. So whether you're facing the ocean, whether you're, because it's on an island, the canals surround the island. So you have water views from every single level and never to be built out. So you have those views forever, which is a massive selling point.
5-star hotel service. So Chevron 1, Mark touched on it before. Chevron 1 will be serviced by a 5-star hotel operator, including a 24-hour concierge. So if you like, hotel living and going to the Sheraton or the Hilton Hotel or anything like that, this is like that, but living at your own house.
Equivalent, yeah.
The developer has a reputation for quality and it has established over 25 years. So this is something that is very important because your investment is secure. If you do end up buying in Chevron 1, you know that you're backed by a very good developer who's been around for a long time and prides himself on amazing developments. Let's talk about high yield return. What is that all about?
So this is probably one of the biggest selling points with our building, and it's a special offer that we have for investors.
Yes,
where the developer is guaranteeing a return over 5 years.
Yep.
A 6% return of your purchase price. But the beauty of this, what we call a rental guarantee, is we are allowing purchasers to use the property for 2 weeks every year for free.
Okay.
So if you're an investor and you're looking for a high yield return, the rental guarantee offers that, but it also allows you to come to the Gold Coast. And when you do come here, instead of paying for accommodation and staying somewhere else, you can use your property for 2 weeks every year.
So I've done a bit of calculation in terms of rupees. If I was to calculate in terms of if you buy an apartment, let's say you're spending $500,000 approximately. So $500,000 would be equivalent to around 2.5 crores. What would a typical sort of 1-bedroom rent fall in the area?
Per week?
Per week.
anywhere from 400 to 450 per week.
That's fantastic. So I've done a bit of calculation, guys. So it works out to be around $25,000 a year, which is equivalent to about 15 to, anywhere from 12 to 15 lakhs Indian rupees per year is what the rental returns are. So pretty good to know.
Yeah, especially it's a guaranteed return. So if
over 5 years,
if the apartment is vacant for a week or 2 weeks, you're still getting that money. Income. You get paid every month.
Fantastic. All right, let's have a look at the next slide. So tell us a little bit about building. I know we are sitting in the display suite and we'll show the guys what the display looks like, but we've got some pictures here. Tell us a little bit about building and interiors.
Sure. So what we see right here throughout the building, we have 3 color schemes. Mm-hmm. So we have a light color scheme, which is called classic. We've got a neutral color scheme, which is what we see in the display suite right now. Sure. Which is the modern color scheme. Mm-hmm. And then the dark color scheme is split up into 2, which is called Avant-Garde and Novo. So it's each color scheme is designated for certain levels, which we can see on the screen right now. Okay. But the beauty about these schemes are, no matter if you're buying a 1-bedroom on the lower levels or a 2-bedroom in the middle or a 3-bedroom in the high, the appliances and the finishes in the building are very, very high end. Yep. So the appliances in the kitchen are all Miele. Yes. Which in Australia is considered a very luxury brand. Yeah.
No, that's very good. All right, let's have a look at what else we've got. So we are in the display suite, guys. So we will take you a little bit of a tour through the display, but the display suite is located on Stanhill Drive in Surfers Paradise. It features a full display kitchen, as well as a bathroom. So we're gonna show you that a little bit later on.
And anyway. This is located exactly where the actual building will be. Okay. So it is where the site. So if people do come and visit the display suite, this is where Chevron 1 will be.
Fantastic. All right, here's a render for what so this development really focuses on a lot of indoor and outdoor entertainment. So tell us a little bit about, obviously we can see there's an image of the living area and the kitchen, but what's with all the balcony space?
Yeah, so this just gives people a really good idea of when we were designing this building. Yes. It's like you mentioned before, it's all about lifestyle.
Of course.
When you live on the Gold Coast, the weather's good every day, 365 days a year. Yes. So what we wanted was for the living room, the living room is surrounded by floor to ceiling windows the whole way around the living room, which means you're getting natural light, sunlight in the whole day. Mm-hmm. And then for the balconies, we've made a conscious effort to make sure the balconies are what we call oversized balconies. Mm-hmm. So they range anywhere from 25, 30 square meter balconies to 40, 50 square meter balconies.
Nice.
And these balconies, the depth of them are anywhere from 3 to 4 meters. So it means you can have a dining table, a barbecue. When you have friends and family come over, you can entertain everyone on the balcony and enjoy the views and the weather.
Amazing. Look at that. Look at the views there. So so this is a bit of another render, guys, of what Chevron Island is on the right-hand side. And you can see Chevron 1 tower standing very high and tall, very proud on Chevron Island, surrounded by water. You can see, I can see the pictures of the $1 million mansions that are surrounding it, but that's a bit of an imagery there. Anything you want to talk about there?
No, this is an image from the Surfers Paradise site, and like you said, it just shows how tall and how exclusive Chevron 1 will be when it's finished.
Absolutely. All right. So now I just wanted to touch a little bit on a little bit about what Belluccio Property Group do. Basically, for those who, obviously today, the idea of the discussion of today was to showcase the Chevron 1 tower. But what we can also help you do is if you have an investor, if you're an investor looking to invest, we can also help you in investing in land, house and land development. So if apartments is not your cup of tea, still come to us. We're happy to help you look at other opportunities in terms of the house and land industry. Townhouses and apartments. Our focus is a lot on Queensland. The reason is I'm to give you a bit of background about me. I was born in New Zealand. I've lived in New Zealand for a good 15 years. We moved to Australia. My parents are from the northern part of India, so from Kashmir, but I've been here for 32 years and Melbourne, Sydney are great places, definitely. We can service Melbourne and Sydney, and we've even got some developments down there too in Melbourne.
We do. I'm originally from Melbourne. Yeah.
We're both from Melbourne. So, but the Gold Coast and Brisbane are really what we are focusing on, as well as there's a lot of demand in this area. So we'll talk about that offline. If anyone has any questions, happy to run through it, but the opportunities are there. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Australia. So, you know, I'm a firm believer. I know there is so much opportunity in Australia. If you're sitting in India and you're looking at other opportunities to look at investing, or, you know, where do I want to park my money, or, you know, invest into something, Australia has been amazing for our family, and especially myself. It's a multicultural and diverse location and a community. That's a picture of me with a development that I had about 3 years ago. You know, if you have a look, you've got a different range of communities, you know, from Indians to Thai people from Thailand, people from China, people from all parts of the world, Brazil. You know, we've met so many people from every part of Australia, or of the world. Sorry. So Australia is a safe investment, and there's strong growth in property. There's good job prospects as well. So and also fantastic education. We have probably one of the best healthcare facilities in the world, medical facilities. But the most important thing I like is the fresh air and clean environment. And also, like what we've touched on before, the lifestyle. You know, Australia's given us a great lifestyle component. And the funny part about it is we were saved from the global financial crisis, probably, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, when you know, the whole world economy was going down. Australia was still pretty strong. We didn't have a mortgage crisis. There wasn't some ridiculous lending that the banks were doing. They were very conservative. And recently, coronavirus, which is impacting the whole world, you know, we haven't had that many cases compared to everyone else, because we've got good governments, and they obviously look out for the citizens. So. Just want to touch a little bit on migration. If a person is looking, if you've got a question out there, feel free to come to me directly. But if you're looking to invest or buy a property, you know, a question I always get asked is, do I get the permanent residency? There are certain types of residential projects which an overseas investor can invest into and get a subclass 132 visa. There's a minimum investment requirement of $1.5 million, or there's also another visa which is a 188A, which is a provisional visa for a pathway to the permanent residency, and that investment amount is around $400,000 that you need to have as a minimum, or above. Obviously, if you want to invest more, you know, we would love to look at that. At the moment, these types of projects are only or mostly available in South Australia, Queensland, or Western Australia. So they're not offered in Melbourne and Sydney, because obviously, like I touched on before, you know, Melbourne and Sydney is like, if you compare Delhi and Mumbai, it's already, you know, jam-packed. There's a lot of people there. There's population congestion. The government need to bring people out of those areas, and there's incentives to, you know, like if someone buys in Queensland, for example, there's incentives there. So we can touch on that as well. All right, we'll go into that. So the next one, I do have a migration team. So this is my team. So if anyone has a question about, hey, if I buy a property, how can I get, you know, some sort of visa to come to Australia? We have Bardo lawyers. They are based in Melbourne. They've got offices in Sydney and Melbourne, and they can look after you, or they can, if you have any questions, come to me. Obviously, there'll be a consultant that we can get you involved with. From the team, but these are the guys. So that's it.
Thank you. Thanks for having it.
Great,
thank you so much.
Thank you for an amazing presentation. Do you guys want to do the tour of the entire place very quickly? Arun,
Yes.
do you want to show?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Maybe
all right,
you
everyone.
Bit of a tour as well. Mark can show us. So we are actually in the display suite. So what I'll do is I'll start by the bathroom. We'll have a look at the bathroom. So
Arun, what you can do is you can stop sharing your screen. So what will happen is everyone can see your video fully and see the property more clearly. Yes. Perfect.
Done.
And yes, that's perfect. I request everyone to be on active speaker mode. So while Harun shows us around, you can see it more clearly. Okay, Harun, over to you.
Mark, you might run us through the bathroom.
Sure. So this is the bathroom, and as we were mentioning before, out of the three color schemes, this is the middle color scheme. So this is what we call the modern color scheme.
Yep.
And as you can see, we have floor-to-ceiling tiles, semi-frameless shower, and this is indicative of a two-bedroom bathroom. So
Two-bedroom.
Two-bedroom bathroom.
So if someone buys a one-bedroom, do they get similar?
Very similar. Some have the bath, some don't.
Okay.
But if someone does prefer the bath, that can be an upgrade.
All right, let's have a look at the kitchen.
All right. So the kitchen, this is indicative of a three-bedroom kitchen, and again, this is the modern color scheme. So what we have in the kitchen is an integrated fridge.
A lot of wine.
A lot of wine. But this fridge, so when you shut it, it blends in with all the joinery. And if we come in a bit closer, all Miele appliances. So Miele dishwasher, Miele oven,
Gas.
Everything's gas. Everything's gas.
Good for the chapatis and the rotis.
Correct. 20 mil reconstituted stone bench top. And then, as you can see, there's the views.
So I just wanted to, maybe we can show them the model as well.
Sure.
There you go.
So this is the building. So right now, the display suite, we're currently here where this is located. But this just gives you a really good idea of how tall the building is and what it will look like when it's completed.
Okay, there you go. Thank you for that.
Okay, perfect. All right, Harun and Mark, I think we are now open for Q&As. Lavanya, over to you so that you can, facilitate
Yes.
this.
We have very interesting questions. So Agnev is asking, do I get Australian permanent residency if I buy two-bedroom apartment? Also, is this project under construction or they are yet to begin construction?
In terms of the construction, I'll pass that on to Mark.
So we are starting construction at the start of next year. So construction will commence at the beginning of 2021 and completion will be early 2023. So as Harun mentioned before, as construction is only just about to start, when you decide on a particular apartment, you pay a 10% deposit, sign contracts, and then nothing is due until the building and your apartment is fully complete.
In terms of the permanent residency, if you bought a two-bedroom apartment, you wouldn't be eligible for a permanent residency straight away, but there is a pathway that we can get because you're investing a certain amount of money. There is a pathway that we can get our solicitors. We would need you to have a separate consultant with our migration team, and we can definitely look at ways, because it's all about how you bring the money into, like I touched on it before. If you invest around $400,000, there is a certain way we can get you a visa to come to Australia, but then there is a pathway. So it's like you might not get straight into university or a college, but then if you follow these footsteps and enroll yourself into a couple of courses, you will be able to, be eligible for a university, so same sort of thing with the permanent residency. I wish it was that easy. I could say, look, here's an apartment, buy it and you'll get a permanent residency, but there's a bit more, it's all dependent on your circumstances. So the Australian government will look at what sort of business you're in, what sort of money you've got at the moment, what are you doing when you come to Australia. It's a little bit more, confusing, but I guess we have our migration team that we can definitely have a chat with you. But it'll definitely, if you invest into a two-bedroom apartment here, you've definitely got grounds to come to Australia.
It's a good starting point.
Yeah, it's a good starting point. You might start coming here every 6 months or something, and start exploring, because you've invested in Australia. There's grounds for you to be here.
Strengthens your application.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, we have Khalid who wants to ask a question. Khalid, you can unmute yourself.
Hey, Mark, Harun, lovely presentation, guys. Very, very impressive. Love the way that you guys were very interactive. Hey, a couple of questions. One is that the beginning of 2021, you start the construction. You said that it's kind of laid up until 2023, late 2023, if I got that right. Is there a construction linked payment plan that you guys have in place? That's my first question. Or is everything up front, right? Or I did hear earlier that you require 10% from booking perspective, but how about a construction linked payment plan? Is that in place?
A construction payment plan for the purchaser?
Yeah.
No. So the purchaser, they just pay a 10% deposit once they sign contracts, and then nothing from their side is due until completion.
Okay, so the balance of the 90% is only on handover.
Correct. So 6 months before completion, the developer you'll get regular construction updates throughout the construction period. So you'll get updates quarterly, but 6 months out from completion, the developer will contact yourself and your solicitor and say, hey, the building will be finished in 6 months. It's time to start preparing your 90% balance of the purchase price.
So there's no payment. I think in places like Dubai, in particular, they have a construction payment plan, which you've got. Is that what you're referring to, Khalid?
Oh yeah, I was referring to that. That's number one. I mean, various other places you got that in place, right? But just wanted to make sure that I understand what the payment structure looks like. It's very interesting to know that the balance of the 90% is only when the handover of the property happens, right? It's good.
Because I guess in terms of that's because it's backed up by the developer. The developer just needs 10% deposit. We don't need 30% halfway through and another 30% halfway through. That's the beauty about this project. A lot of developers need up to 50-60%, as you'd probably be aware. But we're just requiring a 10%. And then the balance in 2.5 years.
And particularly from an investment point of view, it's also very attractive because a lot of people like to buy now because they only have to pay a 10% deposit.
Yeah,
and in 2.5, 3 years, with the growth in Queensland and the Gold Coast, the aim is that property prices increase in that time, but you've locked your price in at the time you've paid your 10% deposit.
So in terms of if it's a 3 crore apartment, for example, let's say there's an apartment for $600,000, 3 crores. We only need a 30 lakh investment right now. But if you secure the property for 3 crores, with this type of growth that we're expecting, it's going to be exponential. The property could be worth, no one's got a crystal ball, but it could be worth 3.5 crores, 3.8. 3.94, we don't know. So, but then in 4 years or 3 years time, no one's going to come to you and say, well, now the value is here. You've got a contract in place for the 3 crores. Sure. You settle the balance of your 3 crores and you bought your property.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant investment opportunity as well. So one more quick question related to that. And within the window of the 10% down payment and the handover period, I mean, are there regulations that probably would allow me not to sell the property forward? Let's say I decide in a 1.5 time, it's nearing completion, that I probably want to sell the property off, right? I mean, I'm kind of going with the assumption that there's going to be a strong, probably a strong growth in terms of the value of the property. If I decide to sell it midway before taking the handover, I can do that, right?
Sorry, I missed that.
So he wants to know whether if he put a 10% deposit, secured the apartment, in a 1.5, let's say there's a bit of growth and he feels like he can sell it, can he sell it for and on-sell it for a higher price?
After completion?
No, during construction.
Okay, so during construction, you need the permission of the developer if you'd like to on-sell it prior to completion. Once completion happens, it's completely up to you what you'd like to do with that. You can sell it to anyone. But yeah, before completion, you can only sell with the approval of the developer.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Understood. Thank you, guys.
I can assure you, you'll love the project that much, Khalid, that you wouldn't want to sell it anyway. So.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Khalid.
Thank you. We have another question. what is the minimum investment one should consider in this case? What is the capital gain tax in Australia?
So capital gains tax is only payable. Well, I mean, the capital gains tax is if once you sell the property. If you've purely used it, I mean, it's a bit complicated. We obviously, it would be 40% in some cases, but do you know much about capital gains tax?
Yeah, so if you're living in it,
Yes.
then obviously it changes. You don't have to worry about the capital gains tax.
Correct.
If you're buying as an investment, it's around 30%,
Yes.
the capital gains tax, but it's only 30% of your gain. So
Yes.
if you buy it for 500,000 and you sell it for 600,000, you've made $100,000 profit. You only pay 30% of that 100,000.
There's different ways. It depends on if you buy it on your personal name, if you buy it on a company. I mean, but just to give you a bit of an idea, there would be some capital gains if you use it purely as an investment property.
Correct. But like you said, only once you sell it.
Once you sell it.
Okay. We have Uma Shankar. I think he does not have an audio facility on his mobile. So he's asking a question. If we buy 2 BHK, can we get school admission and necessary visa to live in Australia, if not PR? And he has a follow-up question. Do we have to wait for the project completion, handing over completion to apply for the visa to live in Australia?
That's a good question. Okay, so I think the first question was, if you buy a 2-bedroom apartment, is that right, Lavanya? If they buy a 2-bedroom,
yeah.
Do they get admission to schools and colleges?
Yes.
Okay, so I would have to get that clarified by my migration team, because it's a very good question. In terms of settlement, you'd have to probably settle the property before you can be eligible for anything else. Right now, you're just basically putting a down payment to secure it, and then the visa requirements would probably be after you settle the property. But I can get that clarified.
With the school question, so in Australia, we have 2 types of schools. We've got a public school system and a private school. The private school system, it doesn't matter where you live. If you can afford to send your children there, then you can send them there. With the public school system, because they're quite popular, the public schools in Australia, because they're at a very high standard, what happens is you have to live in a certain catchment zone to be able to send your kid to that school. So we have the maps of the catchment zones where Chevron 1, if just say you don't have PR, but you know the property is yours.
Yes.
If Chevron 1 falls in the catchment zone of that school, then yeah, you can send your children to that school.
And Chevron 1 is surrounded by some of the top schools in Gold Coast.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uma, you can, if you
yeah,
have any follow-up questions, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just looking for a private school. And do you have IB school facilities in the state?
Yes, we do.
IB private school is there.
Yes. We've got the South.
There's TSS,
TSS.
so I can show you. Can I show them on the map? I'll show you on the map. So TSS is one of the most popular schools in the Gold Coast. So if you can see on the video, Chevron 1 is right here.
Is that camera on?
Yes, it's on.
I think because Andrew, guys, can you see us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And TSS, the private school which I was talking about before, is literally down here. It is no further, about a couple of 100 meters. So that's one of the most popular schools on the Gold Coast, and it is literally on the other side of our island.
That's a boys' school?
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a boys' school. Yeah.
Correct.
Does that answer your question, Umar?
Yeah, that's fine. Maybe I'm just waiting for the reply. Maybe later for the above 2 questions about the.
I have a list of all the schools in the area we can send.
We have a list of all the schools in the area, Umar. If you want, I can be able to share that. I can be able to share that with you later on.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you, Uma. We have another question from Bashir. Bashir, you can unmute yourself. Okay, I don't think he's there. Bashir, are you able to unmute yourself? Okay, I'll give Shaukat a chance to ask his question. Shaukat, you can unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you.
Hey guys, congratulations! Fantastic presentation. It's one of the best presentations I've seen. My name is Shaukat Jain. I am from San Francisco, USA. Originally born and raised in India. I love Australia. Put it this way, one of the main reasons for that, I've been the biggest cricket fan all my life. So, Gold Coast, Surfers Paradise, and you guys, this presentations, it was just like mouth watering. I really love it. So, my question is, um, I personally deal with real estate and finance here in San Francisco, in US. I got plenty of friends, investors here in US, and a lot of plenty of other friends back in India as well. Couple of questions. Number one, so investors over here, when what they do is they deal with a lot of asset management companies. A lot of my friends that I know getting a rate of return of maybe about 8 to 10%, I would say. Um, what would actually convince them to actually invest um, over there, besides all this attractive, amazing, beautiful looking locations and properties and stuff, in terms of, money, investment, rate of return? So down the road, say 5 years, 10 years down the road, what can you say about, in comparison of, say, 7 to 8% rate of return here in US to those friends of mine? Number one. Number two is, that's my first question. Second question is, have you guys looked into uh, some kind of say down payment program, which is for some other types of friends that I have that that may have a limited financial, um, you know, capabilities, maybe willing to put like 20, 30% down coming from US, and likewise, same thing from India as well, maybe 20, 30% down. Are there any options, financing options for them where they can invest, with a down payment and, ensure some solid income, other asset documentations to get approved? Have you guys looked into that? So for both, this is for both US as well as for India.
Yeah.
So what are what are the chances for those types of investors? So both sides, ones who are looking for the rate of return, the other ones who are looking for investing with their, minimum payment, down payment possible, like maybe 20, 30%.
Do you want to touch on this?
Yeah, definitely. So thanks for the question. So in regards to investors that want to put in, say 20, 30, 40%, in addition to the 10% deposit that's due, we have an option for those purchases. So what happens when someone chooses an apartment, they sign contracts and pay a 10% deposit. Mm-hmm. That 10% deposit goes into the vendor's solicitor's trust account. And that sits there. No one can touch that until settlement. If there are purchases, and we do have quite a few that have more than 10%, and
20, 30%.
20, 40, 50, maybe the full purchase price, and they're looking for a higher return so they can park their money somewhere and wait for construction to finish in that 2-3 years. We have what we call a development fund, where the purchaser can invest the money into that development fund and they get a guaranteed return per annum of 8%.
8%.
Yep.
Guaranteed.
So, guaranteed.
Okay. Yeah, because I've heard about this. So basically, let's say you buy a $500,000 apartment, you put $100,000 deposit, which would be equivalent to around 20%. Is that, would they classify?
Yeah. So if they bought a $500,000 apartment, they'd only have to put $50,000 into the vendor's solicitor's trust account.
Yep. The other 50,000.
The other, well, yeah, 50,000, 100, anything addition to that,
they would get guaranteed 8%.
8% for the duration of the construction period.
So what they do is they basically, if someone wants to invest 30%, for example, Shaukat, just to answer your question, 10% would be put towards their deposit. The other 20% that they invest, it goes into a development fund, which they would be getting guaranteed 8% on their investment for the duration until the project's done. That's the question. Correct. I think that was question one.
That was question two.
Yeah, that's
question one.
Yeah.
That was question one.
that answers the question. How about the second question for those who actually, don't have, the full payments and stuff. They just want to go with minimum possible payment, down payment, like 20, 30%, whether here in the US or in India. So
Great question.
what are the qualification criteria over there?
So great question. So if someone buys, let's say, for example, someone buys from India, they buy a 2.5 crore flat or an apartment. Let's say $500,000, they buy an apartment, they're paying a 10% down payment. That's to secure the property. In 2.5 years, we can either through the process now start guiding them through, like, let's say, for example, they want to pay 30% from their money, from money in India or US or wherever it is, and they want to borrow 70% from Australian banks or lenders. We have got very good tie-ups with Aussie Home Loans, which is a company. We've got a couple of other companies that we deal with. We can get an independent broker to speak with that individual buyer. Let's say if someone like you, Shokat, if you say, look, I've got 20% deposit, I want to get 80,000, I want to borrow that from an Australian bank, I don't want to touch my money from US. We can have a broker sit down with you, go through the criteria, get you ready in the next 1 or 2 years. So when settlement happens in 2023, we can be able to get lending from an Australian bank for you to purchase that property or settle that property. That way you don't have to bring the full amount of 2.5 crores or 3 crores from India or America. You can put, let's say, 30, 40% down or 20, whatever the criteria is. Generally, for an overseas investor, some banks will look at a 20% down payment, 80% LVR. So that means if it's a $500,000 purchase, $100,000 your money and $400,000 from the bank. It all depends on criteria and also your individual financial circumstances. Some banks might look at you as a more risk type adverse client, so they might give you a 60% lend, and you might need to pay 40%. So individually, we'll look at that and take you through the process of that.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I love that the whole thing behind you. I would love to buy one of those like now or so within 24 hours. Thank you so much for the presentation. I will pass it on. I will refer you some friends, whosoever are interested in there. Thank you, Arun.
Look forward to it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so we have few last questions. One on the chat. Can we opt for mortgages in Australia? Is there final date to finalize the lock-in payment?
Yes. So I think Shokat just touched on that.
Yeah.
In terms of his second question. So his question was whether if we pay 30%, have we got mortgage facilities or lenders? Absolutely. We've got a team here dedicated to looking at financing options, and individually we can speak to you and understand your circumstances. Everyone's different. So, if I bought an apartment here, for example, I might only need to put a 10% deposit. The bank will lend me 90%, but for someone else, you might need to have, a 20% deposit. We'll get 80% from the bank. So yes, there are lending options. We can definitely talk to you about that.
Okay. One more question. What are the local registration charges? Are these different for locals versus international investors?
Foreign Investment Review Board.
Yeah, in terms of stamp duty, so from the building perspective, it's already been FIRB approved.
Okay.
So for any purchaser that's
if anyone doesn't know who FIRB is, the Foreign Investment Review Board have already approved this project.
Correct.
Yep.
So the approval process now is very simple for purchases because it's already approved.
Okay.
Yep.
So what happens in Australia, when someone buys a property in Australia, they need to go, whether you're in China, whether you're in Dubai, whether you're in India, you have to go through a Foreign Investment Review Board. I don't know what equivalent of that would be in India or any other part of the world, but we have the FIRB, and they need to typically approve you. Would that be right? They need to approve you to be able to then invest the money into the country. This project has been approved to receive investment from overseas.
Correct.
Okay. One last question. How does a rental return of 6 percent compare with that of Sydney or Melbourne? Are these consistent? And is there any tax on the rental income in Australia?
I laugh because I've got an investment property in Melbourne. I'm returning 3.1% return at the moment because purchase prices are very high in Melbourne and Sydney. Those areas like Melbourne and Sydney, where you would typically buy a 2-bedroom apartment, you would be spending $1 million, and the rent is pretty much similar to what you'd get in Gold Coast. You know, so the funny thing is that 6% is actually very high in compared to standard, Sydney, Melbourne type areas, because in Melbourne, Sydney, people jump over if they get 3.5%.
Correct.
Would you want to touch on anything else?
No, 100% correct.
Okay, great. Thank you, Harun and Mark, for such an interactive and insightful presentation.
Thank you.
Please note that Belluccio Property Group team will get in touch with each of you via email and will share their presentation with all the attendees. In case you have any queries, please feel free to email us on the given email address on the chat box. On behalf of Team GMN Events and IREX, I would like to thank you all for your precious time and being a part of this platform. We pray that you and your family continue to remain safe and well. Take care, everyone. Goodbye. Thank you guys once again.
Thank you, Rohan. Thank you, guys. Thank you for an amazing connection with the guys in India. We really appreciate it.
Sure. Yes.
Thank you. Have a good day.